There are those that just want to be left alone, and those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? The Ernest Hancock Show.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, from the beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com here in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's very nice. I'm also going to another very nice place in Florida with my special guest, Matt Bruce, host of the CaptainsAmerica.com and a show on Troop Talk Radio for the Department of Defense, keeping the morale up, where he has a son in Afghanistan on his third tour as a Marine. Now, in the next segment, we're going to have Gerald Celente is going to come on, Trends Research. He's going to try and scare us some more, as if we need more scaring. So we'll go ahead and get back to him in just a little bit after this segment. But I want to go ahead and finish up with Matt Bruce here. He's very kind to come in and share his perspective with us. You were saying in the last segment that if the Afghanis would just allow us to do our work, that they would benefit from coming into the fold of something. And I'm kind of, that's kind of the attitude that I think that the government probably has for us here at home. If we would just stop complaining, if we would just let the plan evolve, we would all be better off. And if they got a plan for the people in Afghanistan, I would imagine they got a plan for us here at home. I'm just wondering, what's the plan?
Well, first of all, the United States and Afghanistan is the difference between day and night, because the people in Afghanistan literally are living in the Stone Age. The educational level over there for women is almost non-existent. The educational level for men over there is about that of an elementary school education, and with little exception, that's hardly changed. Obviously, we have an educated society. We have a society that borders on freedoms, freedom of speech, which is what we're exercising here right now. In Afghanistan, with the Taliban under Sharia law, if you render an opinion that's not an opinion that's shared by the people in power, you either lose your life, you're either stoned to death, or you get a hand chopped off or a tongue cut out, or whatever. The difference is
Or you get WikiLeaked?
Not necessarily. I don't think that they, if it hadn't been for the fact that Al-Qaeda has the ability to be able to receive the WikiLeaks documents, just like we did and I did, you probably wouldn't even know about WikiLeaks over there in Afghanistan. But they've been using it as a recruiting tool to go after the people that are making $30 a year, $40 a year. They
are standing on their street corner with an M16 as a recruiting tool. I mean, come on, man.
I might stand on their street with more than an M16. I might be sitting there with a Bradley tank. Here's the thing. We're dealing with people in Afghanistan. We're dealing with people in Iraq. We're dealing with people in 130 countries around the world that are part of this radical Islamic movement that is sworn to our destruction. They don't want anything to do with us or anything that we do. All they want to do is kill us.
Why?
Because we don't adhere to the Sharia law and their way of Muslim theology. That's why.
Okay, so you see us prevailing in this.
I see us prevailing from a force of might versus right, so to speak. We've got the bigger guns, the bigger weapons, but as far as changing the methodology and the opinion of the people, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we need to do what my good friend and former commanding officer, Major General Paul Vallely, talked with me about, and that was develop the lily pad strategy. Take our troops and move them back instead of these forward operating bases into the safer areas in the city and use our predators and use our air supremacy to locate the targets. And then when we need to, when something goes down out there in the forward areas, send our men out there, drop them in to see what it is that's going on and what it is that we took out. It would save our casualties. We need to fight smarter if there is such a thing.
Well, I say there's not, but I'm still willing to listen. This is every bit of this. I'm just giving you my perspective. I'm not trying to convince you. I just want you to understand why I'm so convinced. I'm just if we were the recipients of such attention, I just know that people exactly like you, exactly like me, would resist. I'm just wondering why we would think that not only that they would stop resisting, or that we can convince them not to by bombing them more and more efficiently, or so. I don't see how this ends. I mean, other than economically, we're just going to fold. The empire is not going to be able to maintain its presence around the world like it is. It's just going to stop just because we're broke. So at the end of that, we're going to lose any kind of moral high ground that we have. We're going to lose any kind of influence we have with other countries. We got Russia and China off the dollar now. Europe is going to fold. We're in bad way, and I'm wondering what would be your solution. As things sit now, the solution. We could fix everything if we what?
Well, first of all, as my son has told me on the ground in Afghanistan, there are people there, and a lot of them are just plain and simple farmers. The people are up there that grow the opium, for example, that if they weren't forced to do that, because that's the way that they can make $1,000 or $2,000 a year versus $30 or $40 a year, if they had another way to do that, and we showed them how to grow, let's say, corn, let's say rice, let's say potatoes, let's say carrots, let's say apples, just something like that, so they could feed themselves, that might be a better way to go, and there are people receptive to that, and my son has told me that there are a lot of people that would like to do that and not do the other thing, because that brings in the Taliban, because the drugs that are grown, the drugs that are sold there is what's used for the Taliban to buy their weapons to do what they do in that country.
Well, I know a lot of people that know more than me is saying it was the Taliban that eradicated a lot of the opium crops to begin with. And then we go in, a lot of people say it was because of that. And then we have, the oil pipeline, and we needed somebody that was willing to sign over the rights for us to be able to blah, blah. It's all more social and economic engineering of them. And the reason empires go to Afghanistan to die is because Afghanistan refuses throughout history to ever be anything more than just tribes on their dirt roads. They don't want us there. They don't want to be one people. In fact, they can't. They're just ethnically, they're just so diverse. But I mean, we could force it on. We could just nuke them all. I mean, we could, do something like we can be an empire of conquest. But that comes with a cost, and it always spirals down. And I'm still trying to get from you a perspective on if you had your wish, what you would want would be more effective targeting of people that you want to target, but then you got to know who to target, and after you target them, you got more guys to target. I mean, does that conflict enter your rhetoric?
Well, here's the thing. We know where Osama bin Laden is. We know where the Mad Doctor is. We know where Mullah Omar is. If we were given the opportunity, and Pakistan says, well, we won't let you put troops on our ground, we won't let you do this, we won't let you do that, we won't let you fly over. This is also the same area where the energy material known as lithium is. What do we use lithium for around the world?
Electronics, magnets.
Batteries.
Yep.
Batteries. That's the big attraction right now. With the electronic car, with everything electronic, there are business people, lithium people, if you will, energy people that are chomping at the bit to get into there. Where's this area at? It's apparently right where Osama bin Laden, Mullah Omar, and the doctor that hangs around is in the same area. We need to go in there, target those people, because, again, if you remember when it came to WikiLeaks, they said if you cut off the head of the snake, referring to Iran, if you cut off the head of the snake, we would be all for that. Well, let's cut off the head of the snakes, and let's start with Mullah Omar. Let's start with Osama bin Laden, who, by the way, we should have had by now, as well as the Mad Doctor, because, again, we know the area that they're in.
Okay, I got to bring up this point. We heard this from, what was it, Feith, I believe. They're going in, or Wolfowitz, and he's going, this war is going to be cheap, man. We're going to go in there. We get access to all these resources, and they'll pay for itself. Heck, maybe we make some money. And the fact that the morality of it didn't even enter into it. So I'm just going, is that what's going to motivate us? Well, then I guess Africa's in big, deep trouble because they got a lot of goodies we might want. All right. Well, it was a pleasure talking. I appreciate you being a good sport, Matt, and giving us your perspective. And maybe we'll talk again in the future. That'd be all right?
Not a problem.
Thanks, Matt. Matt
Thank
Bruce
you.
From the CaptainsAmerica.com radio show. Whoa. We'll be right back with Gerald Salente.